Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Show. So happy to have you with me this evening, a little bit past 7 p.m. on the East Coast. And it is an AMA. And I know you're saying, Larry, how can this be an AMA? This makes literally no sense. It's a Wednesday. Your AMAs don't go on Wednesdays. True. You are right. They don't go on Wednesdays. So what does that mean? You know already what I'm going to tell you. If I have an AMA this early, what does that mean? It means I'm traveling. That's what it means. So you know I'm going to be traveling. So guys, if you can, do me a favor, pop on up in here and come see me if you can across New York. Yes, tomorrow, Thursday at 6 p.m., I'll be at the Park Diner in Binghamton, New York. You can come by, say hi. Friday for lunch, I'll be at the Crossways Tavern at Ilion, New York, and I will have a fundraiser. The other two are free. This one is not free. Please show up if you would. At LarrySharpe.com/SYR. It is a fundraiser at the rail line in Syracuse. So please come there if you can. And then Saturday at 2 p.m., I'll be at the Nutcracker Restaurant in Webster, New York. And at 6:30 at the WMC North in Elmira, New York. So please come and check me out there. And of course, Sunday, March 1st, I will be in Warwick, New York at noon at the Warwick Valley Community Center. So if you can come by and see me, come on down, as Trump was kind of saying yesterday during his State of the Union address, because he was. So yes, I'm saying that now. Come on down, except for the one in Syracuse, all are free. Please come on, stop by. If you can support the local business, please do so. If you can afford to buy a meal there, please do so. If you cannot, sit your butt there, talk to me, ask some questions, get mad at me, do whatever you need to do, all good. And of course, as always, click the button known as Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. It does matter. Clicking that like button and reposting this now is going to help tremendously in getting this show out to the people so people can see it. I do appreciate everything that you guys are doing. All right. So what I do want to bring up, though, if I could, is what actually, yes, now, prior to the State of the Union, I did a show, what I thought was going to happen, things like that. For those of you who are paying attention on X, I was doing some live tweeting. Thought it was kind of fun to do some live tweeting here or there. And now I'm going to talk about a little bit about afterwards, you know, what actually happened and what I think happened in general. And what I would say in general, as some of you saw from my live tweeting, this was heavily to his base. Not necessarily a bad idea, but I wouldn't have done that. That's not that I said what I would have done. He did not do what I would have done, obviously. Trump did what Trump does, which is he was very forward. He was on the attack. He said exactly what he wanted to say, and he was aggressive, and that's what he did. And that's him. It makes total sense. I get why he did it. It's what he does. But here is something interesting. This is a focus group done right afterwards from CNN talking about what people who watch thought. And it's a mix of people, has some interesting ideas, and I think it shows what was actually happening here.
Jones and Scott Jennings have been pounding beers and eating popcorn and
that's not
watching
true.
The State of the Union. They're doing a special CNN voter live cast. Saginaw was one of two counties in that crucial swing state to flip from Biden.
This is Michigan.
Trump. Michigan is home to several key midterm contests later this year. Tonight, Van and Scott are joined by 10 voters, 4 Democrats, 4 Republicans, and 2 independents who watched tonight's speech. Van and Scott, walk us through the reaction in the room
of the
president's address.
Well, half of us were miserable, and the other half were delighted.
And that's a funny piece that I noticed, is I looked at, you know, what I thought Democrats, Republicans would think about when they're watching this. And as I looked at some of the responses to it, it was crystal clear. The more you supported Trump, the more you liked his speech. The more you hate Trump, the more you hated his speech. It was so obvious. And that is kind of, it's expected, but sad. Like, I didn't want that to be true, but it absolutely is, right? The people who already hated Trump thought terrible, horrible, bad. People who loved Trump, like, go get him, kick his ass. They loved it. So I wish it wasn't so partisan, but there is some nuance here.
And we're going to get a chance to hear from everybody. Look, I think the most important thing I can say is that people here who are not in Washington, D.C., who are on the ground, look at this stuff very, very differently. You did not like this speech at all. Tell me why.
I didn't like the speech because he did not talk about what he was doing to make our lives better. As Governor Spanberger said, is the president working to make our lives better? No.
Okay, hold on. It looks like someone's telling me there's a problem over on YouTube. Hold on. I'm getting a chat over here. Let me go see if I can find something. I just heard a chat over here. Let me go see if I can find something. I just the chat. Hold on one second. Let me go see if I can find something. What do I have here? I think we got this part here. I'm going to try to see if I can make this better over here because some of you are asking about this. Okay, the live chat should be going now. Let me see if it is. It looks like. All right. Someone over on Rumble told me the live chat wasn't working, so I wanted to make sure the live chat was working. And I think it should be working now. If someone would try to chat on that and let me know if it is working, if you can let me know either on up. There we go. Adironic just says live test and it popped up. So whatever was happening, I think I just fixed it. I clicked a couple things on YouTube. Guys, thank you who are watching over on Rumble, letting me know that things were not popping up, but now I think it's popping up. So, okay, there we go. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Yes, Cage Stone just pops up. Hello, I think we're good. So thank you for letting me know that something was wrong over there. I appreciate it. I think I made the appropriate clicks, whatever those clicks were, because literally I am a tech guru, as you all know. So I appreciate it. All right, let me keep going on. This woman is upset because she says that Trump didn't talk about what he's going to do for the economy. I get it. I get it absolutely. So yes.
James Carville said, it's the economy. And it still is the economy. And he's not talking about that at all.
Wait, what about the Trump accounts? What about the tax cuts? Did that move you at all? Did that make you feel like he's on your side?
No.
Yeah. See, and that's the problem. I think she has a point. Maybe he didn't focus on it. But the problem is, I think this woman obviously is not like Trump, clearly. So I think he would have had to make something insane. I can't imagine what he would have had to say to get this woman to be like, yes, Trump said the right thing. So does the average person say, hey, maybe something's, maybe it's better. He has some ideas. The average person might have said that. Might have. But the problem is she wouldn't have gotten it. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Thank you so much, Joseph. Larry Sharpe for government, $20. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate the super chat. Yes, things are working over here on YouTube, guys. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. As you guys know, I try my best to give you guys what I think is straight balls and strikes. I try my best to not be like, well, I like Trump, so this. I hate Trump, so that. I will tell you what I think people who really like him or don't like him will be thinking. I'll tell you what I think will work. Even if I disagree with or agree with it, I try to be a real political consultant. So yes. Let's see. Phil says, if we get enough likes on YouTube and Rumble, can you show that video? I'm going to show the video anyway. Doesn't matter. I'm going to show the video anyway, Phil. I'll show the video. I'm going to go through this. I have 2 videos I got to show. Yours and one more. So I've got stuff I got to show tonight. Tonight's going to be an interesting show. Absolutely. So yes. So there we go. All righty. Looks like Irene is reposting this. Thank you, Irene. Reposting does matter. I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right. Let me keep going here.
No, it did not.
Why not?
He talked about the healthcare plan. Where is his healthcare plan? People's health insurance premiums are going up. What is he doing for that?
Now, you may disagree with his healthcare plan. I know people who have attacked it. I get it. But he did absolutely did show an healthcare plan. He did. That's true. He did show a healthcare plan. So again, you may disagree with it. He did show one. She doesn't like it, which is okay. Then she should say that. Hey, I think the healthcare plan's a bad healthcare plan or whatever. I mean, look, they came up with Obamacare. That's a healthcare plan. It doesn't work. But to say Obama doesn't have a healthcare plan would not be true. To say he has a bad one would be true. But he doesn't have one.
What is he doing for our seniors?
Yeah, just left you flat.
But Erica, you are a Trump supporter. You liked the speech, and you had some positive things to say. What did you think?
Yep, I'm glad he addressed the tax breaks. I haven't done ours yet, but I know there will be a huge change with the children tax break, and my husband works a lot of.
But here is the problem that Trump did not address. He didn't address the fact that people are having trouble getting jobs. That is the big thing that he is not addressing. Now, why didn't he? Because before he has no answer for it. He has none. He has no answer for it. I, of course, have one, but that's fine. That's just me. But anyway, he has no answer for it. Of course not. He has no answer for it. And I get it. Democrats don't either, to be clear. Democrats' answer is more checks. So that's not true. Democrats do have an answer, more checks. So yes, Democrats have a bad answer for not finding jobs. Republicans have no answer for people not being able to find jobs. So yeah, there we go.
Overtime, so I'm excited to see what that does. I think no senior should pay Social Security taxes. And then I liked how, I wish he would have stayed more on Iran, because I was already wondering and trying.
He also did not give a specific on Iran. I agree. And the thing he did give, that part, you guys know me very well in this one. I know you all do. I hate the warmongering. Oh my God, I hate it. And again, this is not a Trump thing. I hate it when Obama bombed people. I hate it when Clinton bombed people. I hate it when Trump bombs people. I hate it when I hate it when Bush bombs people. I hate when we bomb people. This to me is nonpartisan. Stop bombing people. I can't stand it. Go back to insulting Democrats. Please stop walking us into war. This I cannot stand.
Not to worry about it, but kind of not paying attention. But it sounds like he said, if they're not going to go to nuclear, we don't have to do the FA.
And that's not true. They've already said it. Literally yesterday, before the speech, the foreign minister or foreign ministry of Iran put out a statement saying they agree, they will not for any reason at any time go after a nuclear weapon, to create a nuclear weapon. No, they were unconditional. We will not do it. We agree. They already agreed. So if that's the real issue, the Iranians have already blinked. I hope it's enough. I hope Trump goes, okay, I accept that. You have put out an official statement. I believe it to be true. Well, how do we inspect this? Let's end it. I hope that's what happens. My worry is it's about more than that, because the Iranians have already agreed in writing officially from their foreign ministry. No. So there we go. All righty. Missy says, can you see my comments? And Lucy says, yes, I think we're good over here. I think it's working on YouTube is my guess. John says, the answer to the unemployment problem is, as a Democrat, left-winger is always to cut checks and do not have a timeline for them to get off. Yes. So, right. You're right. I want to be clear on that, John. You're correct. Democrats do have an answer. More checks. They have a bad answer, but an answer. So I guess there's that. I'm not sure if we're happy about it or not, but they do have one.
Find out. We don't want to find out.
Yeah, his preference was diplomacy.
Right.
Yeah.
But he will find out if he has to.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so curious about how you saw it.
The thing that I missed the most was a focus on the economy and looking forward. And Supreme Court struck the tariffs down, and he's going for another round of tariffs. And
this part, I think, is a valid point, right? The tariff thing, this was his opportunity, Trump's opportunity to walk away from tariffs. He could have done it. He could have been like, yeah, I'm walking away. And if things go wrong, he can then blame the Supreme Court, right? See, it would have been great, but the Supreme Court trashed my tariffs. Otherwise, it'd be awesome now, right? It gave him an option. But I think Trump honestly wants these tariffs. I think he honestly believes this is going to help. And the problem is, again, as always, if you're looking at using tariffs to change the economy, you can do that. It can work, but it's a multiple year process. You're not going to get it in 6 months. And then it's $18 trillion in promises. It's not true. There's 19 trillion, but about half, which is still, look, I'm not happy. It's still more than what Biden did. But again, why do you have to make it double? It's not 18. It's not a thing. You can't find anything. The only way you can find it's 18 is him saying it. There's no data that shows there's 18 trillion. I think it's 9 trillion. I think that's the official numbers is 9. But it's fine. It's, again, better than Biden. True. Not mad at that part. That's a good thing. But even if it's true, $9 trillion doesn't come into America tomorrow. It comes in over how long? How many months? How many years? And if you're going to add tariffs to that, okay. But then again, that's months, that's years. That's not tomorrow. So Lunatic says, hold on. Lunatic says, the State of the Union was a big nothing burger. Why you got to steal my thunder, Lunatic? Huh? Why you got to steal my thunder? All right, show over. Lunatic ruined it for everybody. No, no, but the reality of it is that is kind of at the end what it winds up being. What do I mean by that? What I mean by Mastermind, I was putting dots in. Mastermind, why are you popping up dots? Okay, your dots. There we go. All right. No, I think, Lunatic, you have a very valid point. At the end, Trump did what I think is a very good job of motivating his base. His base was turned on. His base is rocking and rolling. His base loved when he was beating up Democrats. I get it. If you are behind Trump and you're a part of his base, you are motivated, you are up and running. Well done, if that's your goal. I always thought that should not have been his goal. It is relatively easy for Trump to motivate his base compared to others. He's very good at it. He could do a couple of, things, get out there. He can motivate his base. I'm a broken record, but I don't care. I'm right on this one. Getting his coalition together, that's the deal. Getting his coalition together is the hardest part. He didn't do that well. That he did not do. It was all about just getting his base up and running. That was the issue.
I also think that's the wrong direction. Tariffs cost our company a lot of money. Our costs are up, and we need to control our costs. And, without, raising rates, we can't give raises to our employees. We can't help them. So I'm stuck in that kind of vicious cycle of raise the rates, prices go up, raise the rates.
Yep.
And, how do we continue that?
So he didn't help you at all on the tariff stuff at all. But you said that you enjoyed this speech and that there were moments that moved you. What moved you about this speech?
Well, the celebrating people is always good, but again, that 18 trillion investment, the 25 million.
Yeah, see, he's right. That the showmanship in Trump, again, whether you love Trump or hate Trump, whatever your views of him are, he's an amazing showman. He always has been and will be until he's no more. He is a good showman. It's what he does. He's a great marketer. He's a great brander. He's a great showman. He just is. I'm not trying, again, if you don't like Trump, I'm not trying to make you angry. I'm just telling you what he is. He's good at this. He was almost like an MC as he emceed each story, telling stories and showing people. It was well done. And I know a lot of Democrats are like, it was boring. You're wrong. It was not boring. That's Democratic cope. It was not boring. You might not have liked it, or they didn't say what you wanted. And I think that woman believed that. I think that woman you just heard earlier, she didn't like it. She doesn't like Trump. I get that. She didn't say, he didn't say what she wanted. Okay, I get that. Boring? No. That's not true. It wasn't boring. If there was lots of, he gave out like 9 medals. I'm exaggerating. He gave a bunch of medals out. There were a bunch of people and a hockey team and no. So yeah, that's not how that works. So yeah, it was not boring.
In Trump accounts,
and it wasn't $18 trillion. Again, it's not a thing. I don't know where Trump's getting that from.
But I did hear.
He also didn't stop 8 wars. Did he stop wars? Yes. Okay. I posted this and I stand by this. If Trump will walk us away from Iran right now, I will give him credit for 8 wars. I'll tell people he did it. Walk us away from Iran. He didn't. Not 8. A bunch, yes, but he's not responsible for all of them, right? Was he, to give him credit, was our foreign policy and did our team help to end some of those wars? I'm sorry, all of those 8 wars. Yes. That is true. But is he personally responsible for all 8? No. And then when he said he's over is the Gazan war, which ain't even over. So, yeah, that's not true. So, but look, I'll give you credit for all of it. Just get us out. Let's not go to Iran. I'll tell the world, yeah, he did all 8. He did it.
Something
Absolutely.
on the health care, right?
Yes.
We have a law, the Obamacare, the ACA, and we don't have a we don't have a way around it, and it's really just pooled care that's gone up every year. And this most favored nation, he's taken a stab at lowering the costs for us. And
now this is also not a bad idea. He did come up with something, right? The other woman say he came up with nothing. Trump does have this thing where we're all supposed to be having cheap drugs. I haven't seen that yet, but supposedly that's going to work. I hope it is. I don't know.
And unless the legislature acts, he's at least doing something that's going to hit our pocketbook.
And that's the worst part, the part about at least. That is a pain. So, yeah. All right, let me grab a couple more of these comments if I could. Massman Hour is over on Rumble, and I guess there's an issue on YouTube tonight. I didn't realize this. Phil says, I tried a couple times. I guess it's not working. Comments, I don't know why. Let me see if I can figure it out. Hold on. Let me look and see if there's anything I can do on there. Hold on. Perhaps I can do something on it. Maybe it's me. It is possible I've made some type of error. Let me see if I have. Is there some type of error that I have made? Let's see here. No, I don't think I have an issue here. I can't see. I don't think there's anything here. No, I'm looking now. They have a bunch of new things on here that I'm looking at, and I don't. How about that? All right. Let's see if that is good. All right. Yeah, Mastermind, I see you popping up now. I think somebody was in here popping around, and certain pieces were not popping up. Yep. Okay. So I think I have fixed it. I think I have fixed it. You should be able to go in now. Yeah, you should be able to go in now. Should I pop in timestamps maybe? Yeah, I'll pop that in. And we should be good. All right, I think I have repaired it. I think now I repaired it. Please check if you would. It should be okay. All right, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that. Someone must have been in there messing around with it, and it's all messed up. So there we go. All right, there we go. And Phil says, Rumble's better anyways. Cheaper Rumble rants, better for the creator, better for free speech. Look at that. There we go. I love that. See that? He cares. I love that. All right, so I think I covered all that. Okay, I hope that pops everyone back up. I hope we can see everything. I apologize for the errors. Let me move forward with some more. There are lots of comments. I do want to grab some of these if I can. All right. John says, Otona Lunatic, it went exactly how I thought it would go. It was horrible WWE style promos and Democratic whining and making fools of themselves. I'm glad I went to bed. But that's the showman that he was, right? I think that's the showman that he has been. So yes. Ken says, what did Trump not mention yesterday? The national debt. True. Let me cover some things he didn't mention. And this is the part that he did not mention. Okay. If you look at things he did not mention, he did not mention the debt at all. You're right. And he used to. He stopped mentioning the debt. That went away. He didn't mention MAGA at all. I talked about coalition building. Didn't mention it at all. He didn't mention mass deportations anymore. Do you notice that? He did mention some things about ICE, kind of, as he mentioned Minnesota, but he was kind of attacking Somalis, but he wasn't really talking about what's happening there, so not really with ICE. So he dodged around ICE, did not mention mass deportations at all, hardly mentioned the economy, didn't mention Kristi Noem. Yeah. Said Marco Rubio, greatest guy in the world. Everybody loves Marco Rubio. Oh, he's the greatest guy in the world. I'm going to tell you something I saw. And some of you may think I'm nuts, but I'm going to tell you what I saw. I think he's throwing J.D. Vance under the bus. I do. And you go, what? I thought J.D.'s bad. I don't think so. I think he's setting up Rubio. I think he's setting up Rubio to be the next one. That's what I think. Secretary of State. And Rubio's going to take over, and the neocons take over the Republican Party. That's what I see. Why? All he did was say Rubio's great. This is all awesome. And then after all of that, he says, oh, J.D. Vance, we're going to make you the fraud czar. What a setup. How are you going to get rid of all the fraud in the U.S. government? How are you going to get rid of all the fraud? You can't win that. I'd have been like, no, boss, no. I'd have been like, no, don't do that. He gave him the worst possible job, fraud czar. So now when JD tries to run in the primary, what are they going to say? I thought you were the fraud czar, JD Vance. Look at all this fraud. You suck. That's what he's going to say. JD's finished. That's the end. Mark my words. Remember this day. Remember it always. Remember this day. I think this was the end of JD. I could be wrong, but that's how I see it. Because that stuff he did not. Yeah, that was an issue. So yeah, but the one thing he did, which was good, that what some Republicans were worried about, they were scared about. They were scared he would attack the SCOTUS Supreme Court. He didn't. He was just like, well, it's sad and whatever, and that was it. And Republicans like, whew. They did not want him attacking the Supreme Court at all. So he gave Republicans a break by not doing that. So there we go. Hope that makes sense. All righty. Via says, I looked at the YouTube down detector and it was a spike around 6. I don't know what that means. D, I love you. I have no idea what that means. You might just put on a foreign language there. I don't know what that means. So I guess that's good. Okay. James says, Larry, I have an irrelevant question. Is it relevant? What's your opinion on the ID age verification checks happening on online platforms as Discord, YouTube, and other apps? In theory, I don't mind them. In practice, just another way of collecting data. So I don't like it. So in theory, I don't mind it. In practice, it's not working. Like anyone can it's just collecting data for no reason. So they're going to use it just to control us. So I hate it, but I understand the logic behind it. I understand it. But yeah, it's a pain. It's all data collection. I hope that makes sense. Hope I answered your question. So, all right, let me look over. I dealt with that. I'm looking now to see if I can get my
Get set.
Let me see if I can get this going. I think YouTube is working now, right? I hope it is at least. It looks to me like it's working. I hope it is. You guys tell me if I'm making a mistake. I think it is working. So, all righty. Oh, okay. That's the website of D says that will tell you there's a YouTube outage. And there was a spike in recorded case at 6:30. Oh, okay. So maybe YouTube was down. So it was YouTube that was down. Okay. There we go. It wasn't me. See, I'm perfect and wonderful as always, D. Thank you. It was YouTube that was the problem, not me. I'm clearly awesome. So yes, thank you for that. I appreciate that. All right. Let me walk down a couple more of these if I can. Lunatic says, Trump grandstanding with a new war on fraud to join the war on poverty. Yeah, you're not wrong. Because he's gonna get rid of what he called the Somali pirates. I got to give Trump, when Trump starts roasting people, he's good at that. Like again, he's good at roasting, and he roasted Democrats pretty badly. And the problem is they don't know what to do. Like they don't know how to deal with that. So, but he does roast. That he does do.
I think the part of the speech that's probably going to live on for most Republicans is when he asked the Congress, stand up if you think your duty is first to American citizens before illegal aliens. Republicans stood up. It gave him his most sustained applause for the night. I suspect, man, you're going to see.
Yeah, that was, again, he was roasting him. Trump's good at that. That's one of his skill sets.
See this in a lot of campaign ads that Democrats wouldn't stand up. What did you all think?
And there's the piece he brings up, campaign ads. You know, the thing that I hate about this, right, is that so many people think this is like some kind of important, valuable speech that will change the world. And many of the politicians and consultants are using this just for content, for short form content to raise money. And it's terrible, right? And I know if you're a Republican, you're probably going, oh, Ilhan Omar embarrassed herself and she's terrible and Al Green embarrassed himself. Well, yeah, there's some truth to that. But again, they're going to use that and they're going to raise money off of it, right? They're going to raise money off all that. So you can say they're going to, embarrass themselves, whatever, but they're going to put that out there and Al Green's going to have his picture and be like, see, I stood up to Trump. Just send me $15 and I'll stop the evil orange man. And people are going to send him $15. It's going to work. And Ilhan Omar, I stood up for my Somali people or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And they're going to send her money. So, yeah, it's up. Phil says it over on Rumble. He says, it's pure theater meant to be chopped up for clips. Yes. Yes. And it will work. And each side will give their side the red meat that they want. And they'll raise money on it. And see, that'll teach them. Yeah, it won't. And that's the sad part. So, yes. John says, I will absolutely dismiss the 8 war stops because the wars Trump stopped and nothing to do with the U.S. at all. Well, that isn't necessarily a bad thing, right? In theory, it's good if he stops other wars. That's a good thing. I'm not mad at someone for trying to stop other wars. I think stopping wars is a wonderful thing. The issue is he's acting like it was all him, like nothing would have happened without him. That part's not true. And one thing he said was, the Gaza war, that's still going. That hasn't even ended. And he hasn't ended the Ukraine war either yet, which he said he would do in 24 hours. So look, all I'm saying is what he should have said, which I would have accepted. Hey, the United States was instrumental in ending these 6 wars. We were part of the plan to make this happen. Accurate statement. We're good. Move on. He's like, I stopped 8 wars. Dude, no, you didn't. And some of them are still going. So, yeah. Josh, thank you. Joseph, thank you, says, to remove fraud, get rid of all politicians except Thomas Massie and Rand Paul. Maybe Ro Khanna. If you can do that, okay. Yes. There we go. I love it. All right. James says, I've decided that this Saturday, I will try to make an unaffiliated response to Trump's State of the Union and the pathetic Democratic response for my podcast, The Political Freedom Fighters, at 2 p.m. Eastern. Okay, Saturday at 2, I will be at an event. So, James, I can't help you on that one. I will literally be in Monroe County, in Webster at 2 p.m. on Saturday. So I can't make that one, but maybe I'll watch it afterwards. But I can't make that one. So, yes, I appreciate it. So, Phil's mad. He goes, if YouTube can't get their act together, then I'm going to give Rumble an algorithm boost. I'm in, brother. Give him a boost. Boost him up. No worries whatsoever. Happy to have it. So, Joseph, thank you for the super chat, my friend. I really appreciate it. All right. Okay. Nana says, is that why my comments been disappearing? Yeah, maybe. Something's going on. So Jacob says, hello, Larry. Always good to have a good balanced conversation without going off the rails. You give independents like myself a place to make sense of the madness. Thank you. I'm trying to. I appreciate that, right? I'm trying to not just go, I hate Trump, so everything he says is bad, or I love Trump, so everything he says is good. I'm trying to not be that guy. I'm trying to be a guy who says, here's what I think some people like, other people like, and did it work or not? So here's what I'll say. Lunatic has the very valid point. He stole my thunder, Lunatic. Thanks for nothing. The reality of it is, in the long run, what did Trump do? He was very good at motivating his base. Very good at that. He did a very good job of that. If you are part of the Trump world in general, you're probably a Republican, probably conservative. If you're in that world and you like Trump, you were happy. He gave you a lot of good red meat that you enjoy. He beat up Democrats this tomorrow. That was great. He did make an attempt to get independence. He did. And here's how he did it. He did it the way that's worked in the past, which is he insults Democrats so badly, he makes them look stupid and crazy. And he says it. You guys are crazy. You're bad people. He says those words, right? He insults them like that so that the people who want to vote for them go, do you want to vote for crazy people? Maybe I'll vote for him instead. And to be forward, that has worked in the past. It has. That has worked. Because Democrats are the Democratic establishment. I should say Democrats. The average Democrat doesn't always do this, but the Democratic establishment can't get out of its own way. The Democratic establishment is consistently preachy and exclusionary. Consistently preachy and exclusionary. So when now someone goes, I don't know if I like what Trump is doing. I don't like this. Let me see what Democrats are doing. Democrats don't go, oh, we're so happy. Come join us. We're an open tent. They go, what do you think about this? What do you think about ICE? Defund ICE. Abolish ICE. You won't. We hate you. You're evil. You're a bigot. And then the person goes, I guess I'll go back to Trump, I guess. That's what winds up happening. And the thing that Trump did not do last time in 2024 is when Democrats got pissed off at their own party and they came to the Republicans, he went, come on in. We're good. Come on in. Do you think that the crazy woke stuff is nutty? You think that? Then you can be a Republican. That's how he was in 2024, and that's what helped build the coalition. The issue is Democrats have not been welcoming at all. Democrats in the last, 15, 20 years, I don't know what the number is in the area, have been insanely exclusionary. You must follow everything we say or you're evil, wrong, bigoted, horrible. You're an hysterophobe. And people aren't joining. So, yeah. All right, let me grab some more of these if I can. Andrea, thank you for the $5. I would rather spend my money wisely and give to Larry Sharpe. Thank you. Rhetoric became a member. Thank you. Larry Sharpe for governor. That is all. That is all. Do we require anything else? We don't. Perfect. Thank you, guys. So, yeah. All right. I hope that was clear. All right. D says, I know one damn thing he didn't mention, and that was the e-files or Thomas Massie. Now, yes, the e-files didn't mention those. Good for him. Thomas Massie didn't mention him. Also good for him. I am hoping that he has finally figured out Thomas Massie is a battle he cannot win. Use, as you see me talk about in almost every other show, the wisdom of humongous when it comes to Thomas Massey.
Just walk away, and there remain to the horror.
The wisdom of humongous. Just walk away. I do it often. I realize I can't. You know what? I'm just going away from this one. I'm out. He figured out to walk. Hopefully he's figured out to walk away from Massey because he cannot win that. Massey, by the way, everyone that the whole thing was he's gonna meet with the Democrats. He was sitting right with his Republican friends. So yeah, that wasn't a thing. So I do appreciate that. Thank you for that, Wendy. And look, if I was him, I wouldn't bring it up either. So John says, go figure. Little Marco kissed enough orange butt to line himself up perfectly. I'm not sure. Oh my God. Yes. Little Frog said it. Humongous prediction. Yeah. It had to come, brother. It had to. Of course. It had to. Yes. So John says, I'm not sure that's true. John, I'm not sure that Marco did that. I think, and I brought this up last year, when Trump came aboard, the thing to remember, a lot of people who wanted Trump to win were pushing because they wanted massive change. I get it. Makes total sense. I did too. You have to recognize, though, when you walk into that, the establishment's still there. And there will be some compromise you'll have to give. And I think, I said back then, for him to be able to get stuff done as a Republican, he was going to have to give in something to the neocons. The neocons haven't gone away. There's still tons of them in the Republican Party. Lindsey Graham's a perfect example of neocons, right? He's probably the poster child for neocons, right? So there's tons of them out there still. They haven't gone away just because MAGA came in doesn't mean neocons are gone, right? They still exist. They're still there. So as the neocons come in, Trump has to give something to them so that he can still get stuff done. So his gift was letting John Thune be the top dog in the Senate. He's a neocon. And bringing in Marco Rubio, neocon, right? So I got to keep some of the tech bros and the crypto bros in. J.D. Vance. So he's part of that group, right? Peter Thiel and all those guys. That's J.D. Vance. So he brought them in. Had Elon Musk around. RFK Jr. was the MAGA guy. Brought them all in and said, go do your thing, right? Now, generally speaking, he's been leaving RFK Jr. alone. Go do your thing. Go wild. I got what to do. Give me some wins. Life is good. Now, this recent Glossopate, is that right? Am I saying it right? That little thing, that's not going well. But in any case, I don't think Marco kissed the butt. I think it was a mutual agreement, and the neocons are very savvy. They've been around in some way, shape, or form since what? Nixon? Maybe Trump, Reagan? In that area, whatever you want to call them that, in somewhere in that area, and they're very good at what they do, and they control a lot of DC. So I'm not sure it's that. Anyway, okay. I think we grabbed that piece. Massman now says Trump wants Rubio as the next president of the United States so we can save a fortune on Scotch Garden Oval couches. Okay. Little AJD joke. Yeah, but I do think what I saw, Mastermind Hour, is I saw the ascendance of Rubio last night. Yes, that's what I saw. Kimberly says RFK Jr. and Trump are kind of at odds. Maybe the classified lawsuit immunity. Yes, I think it's true. But look, RFK Jr. is still in a tough spot too. When it comes to the cabinet and such, RFK Jr. has less friends than anybody. He's the least amount of friends. Remember, RFK Jr. is a former Democrat. He has the least amount of friends in that group. If Trump turns on him, he's finished. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just being real. If Trump turns on RFK Jr., RFK Jr. is finished. You will watch all the rest of them like, get out, gone. He will have no friends anywhere. So he needs Trump to be on his side, which is sad. It's a tough spot for him to be in. Still true, right? I mean, I can say it's sad, but it's still true. It's challenging. So he's got to be like, yes. Otherwise, what's he going to do? He'll be gone. So, all right, let me grab a couple. I'm looking over here at Rumble, and let's see if I can grab this here. Rumble is pretty excited, I guess, because YouTube went down. So, all righty. Phil says, neocons have no problem with doing a coup. Trump got wise to the threat to his life and family by the deep state. Right, Larry, neocons have been around since the 70s. Yeah. Now, look, to be forward, do I think there is any realistic, from neocons, threat of violence against, I don't want to get in trouble, but you know who I'm talking about, the orange one. No, I don't think that's true at all. I think there's no actual threat of violence. Could there be a threat of some form of blackmail or e-file stuff or something like that? Yeah, I do. I don't think it will be violence. And the reason is so many people who support him, if there is violence, the backlash may be insane. Insane. And I don't think people want that. So I think it wouldn't. My gut says there's no real threat of violence at all. Probably a threat of something else, like a blackmail or something like that. So the lady says, thank you for the membership. Got called that liberal lady today because they didn't agree with Trump comment the economy. The pod I mod for is a GOP echo chamber. If not red, then must be blue. Yes. I watch that constantly. What's the old joke about libertarians? You have to make sure you're called the liberal and a conservative all in the same conversation. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Whenever I do my anti-war stuff, oh, you've got a bleeding heart liberal. I guess I like bombing people. But then when I say it, when Obama's bombing people, when Obama, I was screaming about how bad Obama was, and he was bombing people too. People, oh, you're conservative. Look at you. You love Trump. No, I don't like bombing people. I don't care who does the bombing. Remember that meme where like, it's like Trump and it's like a USA, bombing. And then if it's Obama and is like so it's Biden is like a pride flag on it and they're bombing. It's still bombing. I don't care what flag you put on it. It doesn't matter. I don't like the bombing. So, and some of you who hate me when I say it, I don't care. I'm consistent, damn it. I don't like the bombing. We should stop bombing. So, yes. All right. Let me keep going down here. All right. 99 says, so Larry, what's your plan to bring food back to New York State? It's a grossly simple one. There are two important parts to it, but it's very simple. Actually, it's three. I got to add, this actually 3 parts. 3 parts total, I think, that will make it happen. Number one, you want to treat farms exactly the same as small businesses as far as the government's concerned. So small business loans, small business insurance, not specialized farming until you get to a certain level of industrialized farming, right? So when you're not mass industrialized farm, you should be treated just like a small business. When it comes to creating retail stores or wholesale facilities or manufacturing plants on your small farm, like a small business, no changing in the zoning issues, none of that stuff. Let farmers be farmers. Let them create what they want to create, however they want to create it. Number one. Number two, if you're a small farm in New York State, all you do is you can immediately, if you agree to not sell outside of New York State in writing, just sign a sheet of paper. Yeah, I'll only sell within New York State. You are immune from all federal regulatory bodies. So what does that mean? Know more about the USDA when it comes to slaughtering your animals, all those things, allowing better for farm to table. In addition to that, with that in mind, now you can also sell directly to school districts, right? With my school plan of you controlling locally, you actually allow farm to school. So you have better and more nutritious and healthier school lunches. Food in schools has not all been bought by Cisco and all that stuff. You actually have farmers who could actually send food, fresh food to the schools for breakfast and lunch. So you had that piece also. Last piece of the whole thing. Oh, hold on. I did 1, 2. That was all. Oh, last thing. Sorry. Cannabis. Allow cannabis to be grown as anything like hemp. I already have a cannabis czar to make that happen. Why? Because once you find farmers being able to make better money on cash crops like hempcrete and hemp plastic, hemp in general, and cannabis too, whatever, craft products like that, they'll be able to make more money to invest in other ways of making food that they cannot now. In other words, there are a lot of farmers now who have to become Monsanto farmers or they can't survive, or they have to put solar panels on their farmland or they can't survive. Once that struggling goes away, farmers do what they want to do, which is make food. So I think you add those pieces together, that's how you bring food back to New York. Hope that makes sense. So, all righty. Let's see here. I guess it's working now. Okay. It is now working. So nice. I guess whatever it was, it is now working. I guess it was bad. Mastermind hour. Yep. It is now here. So it is working. So there we go. Alrighty, I'm back over on Rumble. James says, I find it very strange that Marco Rubio had a 100% confirmation rate according to Trump. That's like a red flag. They had to give somebody, right? They had to give somebody. Neocons is still powerful. That's all I'm saying. So there we go. Alrighty, Joseph, thank you. Amen on farm to school. Yes, what's wrong with farm to school? You can't now because you got to sell it to the big this and the big that. No. Why? Let the local school districts have what they want and let the families decide, right? The customer of the school district right now is the government. That's the customer because that's where they get the money from. But in my plan, when the money just comes directly from the social trust, the customer is actually the parents, which is what the customer of the school should be the parents. People say it's the kids. It's not. Parents. Parents control the kids. The parents should be happy and satisfied with their school teaching their kids. If they aren't, then the school's failing by default. But Larry, my test, the test, we've had tons of tests and our kids can't read. So the tests don't work. The shit doesn't work at all. I want the parents to go, yes, I'm happy. But Larry, what if the parents want their kids to learn stuff that I don't like? Well, then pull your kid out of school or jump in and take care of your school or go to private school or homeschool your kids. And I'll make it easy if you do that in New York State. Done. Raise your kids as you see fit. But Larry, then no one know how to read. Okay, I'm gonna give you a stat you may not like. Oh, if you're me, you will love it. And what is that stat? Do we know when, at what year, the DOE, Department of Education, began in America? 1979. It began to have teeth in the 80s, but it began in 79. It began to have teeth in the 80s. That's when it began to have teeth. When was America at its highest literacy rate? 1979. There we go. We've been going down ever since. So not concerned at all. Not concerned. So, all right. I think we grabbed that piece here. Okay. Let me cover that piece. Massman says, I have learned to watch Larry and YouTube in general on my tablet and type on my phone so I can see what's getting shadow banned. Ooh, interesting. I like that one. That is good. That's pretty cool. So, yeah. All right. Let me grab a little bit more of this before we end it.
Of the showmanship of that, or of sort of the spectacle of trying to get Democrats to stand up for that?
Well, I think the point, I think that you know, and it may have gotten a little muddled, but, you know, in the showmanship, but I think his point is valid. Everybody in that room represents the citizens in this country.
Okay.
And are you doing your job? He should, you know, the governor asked, is Trump doing his job? Trump asked, are all of you doing your job?
But don't you think it was just kind of a cheap stunt? I mean, to just, you know, you're somebody who's been in politics for a long time. To me, it seemed like a stunt. No matter what Trump told Democrats, stand up if I say anything. If he said stand up if you like puppies, they would have said we like kittens. I mean, there's no way they were going to stand up.
He's not wrong.
So to me, he was just trying to make Democrats look bad. But should they have?
Yes. Okay. He's not wrong. Van is not wrong. That's true. My point is, you know who Trump is. You know that's going to happen. That's how it works. So not that he's wrong. Van is correct. That's what Trump was going to do. Trump is going to Trump. I said that at the beginning. He's going to come out hard. He's going to be aggressive. That's what he does. I didn't think he would just sit there and just punch for an hour and 40 minutes. And that's all he did. He basically just punched for an hour and 40 minutes. I did not think that was going to happen. But yeah, I knew he was going to come out punching. That's all he did. And he beat him up and he yelled at him, called him names. Of course he's going to do that. You don't know? You're not ready for that? Come on now. And then you give your response, which is mediocre?
Stood up,
no.
Pastor?
The role should be to unify the country. And I think this was the opportunity for us to come together as one.
He's correct. That was an opportunity to make that happen. He did not do that. But I don't think he wanted to. I think Trump went back. This is my worry if you're a Trump supporter, a worry for Trump. I've seen him, and I've said this since last year. Sometimes I see him as Napoleon going into Russia. Always winning, can always win. Doesn't matter what the odds are. I'm Napoleon. I always win. Attack, attack, attack. But that was a bridge too far, right? There's an old saying, an old story for the Battle of Kursk in World War II, 1943. It's the Germans mounting an offensive against a Russian salient outside the city of Kursk. And it failed. It was the largest tank battle, I think, ever. I think in the history of the world was the largest tank battle was that battle, if I'm not mistaken. Someone can check me if I'm wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure it was the largest tank battle ever. And it failed. Why did it fail? Because the German army wasn't great, because the German army wasn't this or that. German army was still great, still had good everything, still had good generals, everything. The problem is the Russians had seen it before, many times. The Russians at this point had known. They'd been at war with the Germans for over 2 years. They knew their tactics, and the Germans came the same old way and they beat them back the same old way. Well, my worry is Trump attacking the same old way? And will Democrats at one point push him back the same way? I don't know. Democrat incompetence is the issue, right? If the Democrats find as I keep saying, if they find their Bill Clinton 3.0, they have not found him yet. But if they find him, they're going to crush Trump. If they don't find him, they won't. Right? That's the issue. So, all right.
We're not a states of red or blue states, but we're the United States. And this was
Would you have stood up if you were a Democrat and Donald Trump said, stand up if you are against illegal immigrants, whatever he said, would you have stood up?
I would have respected our country, and I would have stood to my standards. I would have stayed to my who I am, and left it at that.
So he didn't say a word. He said nothing.
Wait a minute.
No, look, to be forward, if you're a Democrat and Trump says stand if you want something, you can't stand. You can't. Now, you're going to give Trump a commercial. It's going to happen. But if you stand up, you getting primaried. You're done. So you have to accept, Trump is going to set up a commercial. Guess he got a commercial then. That's how you look at it. Guess he got a commercial. Good commercial, Trump. Well done. Respect the game and move on, because you cannot stand up. You stand up, you're primaried. You're finished. He stood up for Trump. The orange man is evil and Democrat so-and-so. No, you can't. You just got to, at that point, you just got to take it, right? What's that? It's done. And he knows it.
All right. We have a minute left here. We're in Michigan.
Yeah.
We are in Michigan. We can see Canada from here, almost.
Kind of.
Did everybody love the hockey team? Let's do it.
All right, I'm gonna let that go. That part is actually pretty brilliant. The hockey team was good. I appreciate that. That was a good thing. I enjoyed that. So yes. Any case, all righty. Jacob says, yeah, Trump didn't need to give immunity to glyphosate. True. Andrew says, Larry Sharpe, governor, screw fanboy Blake. Well, let's hope that happens. That'd be nice. Let's hope that happens. Yes. Lunatic says, the Democrats are losing the culture war. I think you're right. And let me give you one. All right. I was going to put this up, but because this is for you, Lunatic, because I remember this when she says it, talking about the hockey team, right? And watch how the one woman reacts to it. Talk about the hockey team.
America. We took their sport. We took their gold medal. Jack Hughes, our guy, he took their hot chicks. He's dating one of their hot chicks right now. It's amazing.
Jack Hughes is from
I know. That's what I'm saying.
We took 2 gold medals. The women won 2.
And the president acknowledged.
See, she has to say that. That's the virtue signaling. She has to say that. She could just went, yeah, good for the. She has, and women too. Women too. She has to say that, right? That's the culture war piece talking about. The idea that the idea you have to do some type of cultural virtue signaling. It's true. Look at her face. She's all like, look how righteous. I am righteous. Look how righteous
the
I am.
women. And he said they're coming to the White House, which I thought was a great thing.
Hey,
so
listen,
here in Michigan, Anderson, I have to say, I think the hockey moment was unifying probably in this particular area more than anywhere else in the country. Everybody, Republicans, Democrats, even Van.
Yeah.
Even poor Van. On a miserable night said, the American hockey team
It's nice.
is
The
a
hockey
great
team was
thing.
nice.
I
Admit it. Good thing.
That was a good thing, though. I will say they keep messing with these Canadians and it's messing up y'all's economy. No tourists are coming down here, so let's be nice, be a little bit nicer to the Canadians. But I'm glad we won.
All right, Anderson.
You know, it's
that's
nice.
what we got out here in
nice
Michigan. We got a lot of opinions out here.
It's nice to see the heated.
And the thing that I like is that I know, look, CNN is still CNN, but I think CNN has been trying to be much more. They've been trying to be much more of a back and forth, left and right. They've been trying, and it's still CNN. But what I would say is it has gotten better. That's what I will say. It has gotten better. There we go. That's all I can say. It's still not great, but it's gotten better.
Rivalry between you guys. You can watch it later, Scott. You'll see. My panel is here with me in Washington. I do want to play something that the President Trump said about affordability, which is obviously
so he did bring this up, and I want to bring that piece up. He did. All right. So the other piece that he did bring up, and this was a piece that if you look, there is a video on the Larry Sharpe YouTube page which is talking about what he brought up, which was the nuclear power, and bringing up nuclear power. Let's see if I can grab that here. If I can find it. It is here somewhere, isn't it? Is it here? There it is. Okay, let me find it. He's talking about dealing with AI and how we can deal with the energy issues for AI, the AI energy issues. And there we go. Okay, here we go.
This is a unique strategy never used in this country before.
High-tech jobs and jobs to support those high-tech jobs. And we can do that here in North Country by bringing Gen 4 nuclear power plants here into North Country.
That's some guy like 4 years ago talking about nuclear power plants with, by the way, a cool Sharpe shirt. Yeah, doing that. Isn't that weird?
Green energy that will pump this state full of lots of energy, enough that we can actually sell it to pay for other issues and lower our tax burden in this state. We do that, we will change how North Country works. We will change how this state works. We become self-sufficient as a state here in New York. No more.
Look at that. Some guy talking about that 4 years ago. That's a handsome-looking man, by the way. Yeah. So did Trump take that from me? Yeah, probably.
You're buying energy from Pennsylvania. You're buying energy from Canada.
Many Americans are also concerned that energy demand from AI data centers could unfairly drive up their electric utility bills. Tonight, I'm pleased to announce that I have negotiated the new ratepayer protection pledge. You know what that is? We're telling the major tech companies that they have the obligation to provide for their own power needs. They can build their own power plants as part of their factory so that no one's prices will go up. And in many cases,
so now, look, this idea sounds good. It does sound good, but here's the problem. So I live in some area that doesn't have enough power or whatever, and I'm like, I don't want an AI data center in my area. True, I get it. I get why you wouldn't. I'm not mad at you for it. It makes sense. I don't want it. I'm gonna fight it. Don't bring it in here. Whatever, right? Okay, fine. What if we build this brand new data center, and then but they build their own power plant? So they build the power plant. So their employees from other places come in to build what? So now I have a coal power plant in my neighborhood that I don't want anyway. If you're talking nuclear, okay.
Cases, prices,
but that's about the only way.
Electricity will go down for the community, and very substantially down. This is a unique strategy never used in this country before.
You have heard me before talk about it, but this guy was talking about this last year, about New York becoming an energy powerhouse. Trump has signed, will, if he hasn't already, signed an executive order saying that you cannot regulate AI. True. But what does AI need more than anything else? Energy. I can have New York State become a powerhouse of energy. Larry, why do we want to do that? I've been talking about powerhouse of energy for 4 years just already. For jobs in New York State. When we build out our power plants, we will be able to bring AI to us. You're thinking, why would I want that to happen? The energy is cheap. They're happy to have it. So I get clean water, yes. And energy is still cheap, yes. And I get these data centers here, yes. And I get nuclear power plant jobs, yes. Yes, and yes. All yeses. See, why, Larry, but it takes all the water. Here's what you have to understand. How do you get clean water? Energy. Energy can clean the water. So if you have lots of energy, either through Gen 4 or modular nuclear power plants, you can just keep adding more and more and more to them to get more energy to get clean water. So yes, all good. 50% of that nuclear power plant is owned by the people. Yes, ownership is the answer. If 50% is owned by the people are happy to get these AI centers. Why? Because they're getting a cut. That's the issue. Trump's plan's almost there. He didn't take all of my plan. Trump, take all my plan next time, not part of it. Take the whole damn thing. You only took part of it. Take the whole thing. If you take the whole thing, now people get half of it. So what does that mean? Do I now want to bring this power plant into my neighborhood? Nuclear power plant? Yes. Clean, more jobs, cheaper energy. Why? I have 50% ownership of it. So I'm getting a cut. I can use that cut to lower my prices. I can use that cut to get a check. I can use that cut to create a local bank so that I can get 1% loans on new businesses or new houses, whatever I want. That's the right answer. You want it, you do it, you take it, and now it's in your area. 50% of that to include voting rights and profits goes to the people of that municipality and or that county. I want a dividend check to every, resident who's been there for the full year, basically creating a form of UBI. AI still controls the world. Oh, no, it doesn't. The only way you can control AI, the only way, is being able to pull the plug. So if each of these communities has voting rights, and many of them do, they can decide, we're not going to give you energy anymore. Why? You're doing things we disagree with. Yes, you have some control. You're doing things that are wrong or bad. Right now, we have no leverage. Right now, we have no power. Then we go, Larry, do you say UBI? Yeah, but it's not government. It's from your ownership. It's not UBI, it's UBA, Universal Basic Assets. You have an asset. People become wealthy because they own assets, not because they have high salaries. Giving people assets, ownership. Now, you might go, but Larry, if this company is giving 50% of the profits away, they're not going to make much money. They're not making money on the energy. That's the point. They're making money on the AI data center. The energy is a loss leader. They don't care. They make whatever. It's fine. You're getting a cut. They're getting a cut. Who cares? All good. And you get voting rights. They're unethical. Now we have some leverage. Having that leverage means now we have the ability to pull the plug, right? That's the way we can make this work. Remember, business is not evil. It's apathetic. It doesn't care. It goes to what makes the most sense financially. Upstate New York will have a renaissance like there's no tomorrow.
This is
Who
a
else is
unique
talking about that?
strategy never used.
Nobody else is. Nobody else is. I'm the only guy talking about this stuff. Now, Trump took some of my stuff. Nicely done, Trump. Take more. You can take enough. That's your only problem. It's your problem, Trump. You listen to everything I said. I'm 100% right. You thought I'm like 50%. I'm 100% right. So, yeah. Any case, hope you guys enjoyed a little piece. That was pretty interesting. So, yes. But if you're worried about the economy piece he mentioned, which was the tariffs, he didn't really mention much about, right? He mentioned a little bit, mad about it, a little bit. There's actually a place who was talking about tariffs a long time ago, before this even happened. You knew it was civil. Of course you did, because it's always civil. Yes, absolutely. There is actually a piece. If you look at this piece right here, it's called Who Will Blink? This is from the Reason Roundtable, right? This is just 2 days ago. 2 days ago, he's talking about it.
The Supreme Court says most of Trump's tariffs are illegal.
Mm-hmm.
So is this the real Liberation Day? Welcome to the Reason Roundtable. This is your libertarian review of news and culture from the editors at Reason Magazine and friends. I'm your host, Peter Suderman, and today I am joined by my colleagues, Catherine Mangue-Ward, Nick Gillespie, and special guest, Reason's very own trade and tariffs correspondent, Eric Boehm. I don't think that
a trade and tariffs correspondent. So you're going to get a bunch of ideas on what people think about tariffs, what is going to happen in the future. You get that here on Civil, CIVL.com. Code is Larry10 for 10% off. Larry, the coolest name on the internet, plus 10 for 10% off. Larry10 gets that off. If you want, please go ahead, check out Civil. Civil giving you information. Every single time I do a show, I give you something cool that Civil is doing. Every time. Again, something cool. This is about tariffs 2 days ago. 2 days ago, you got stuff on it. You can look at and understand what's going on. Now, you might agree, you might disagree, but what will you get? Real information, real back and forth, a serious way of looking at things, and not without the conflict machine. Just a good back and forth. Civil.com. Civil is upgrading civilization. CIVL.com. Code is Larry10 for 10% off. They're a sponsor of the show. Support them if you can. Civil.com. So yes, you knew it was going to be Civil. I know you did. I did too. We all knew that, right? Of course we did. Yes. All right. Grab a couple more of this if I can. So it says UBA. Yes. Yes. And again, it's not coming from the government. There's the issue. There's no taxation required. There's nothing. Local people own assets so they can survive locally. And that's the issue. Do I want to create community? Yes. Do I want to support community? Yes. Then have community ownership. And it's voluntary. If you don't want it in your area, in your municipality, vote no. You don't get it. You vote yes, you get it. And you get ownership of it. You don't like what's happening? Vote against it. You like what's happening? Vote for it. But Larry, I'll have to get off my couch and not watch Netflix and care about my local community. Yeah, you will. Yes. You're going to have to not just watch Netflix or help people to watch YouTube, whatever. Keep watching my show though. But other shows don't watch. Watch my show. Then go off and take care of your local community. I think you have to, right? So, yes, there we go. All right. I hope you guys did enjoy that piece. Let me keep moving down here. I know I have a bunch more comments. I'm going to grab some of these here. Lunatic says, solar panels leach heavy metals into the soil and food cannot be grown there. I know. See, that's the issue. I want that gone. Now, can you clean it? You can. And one of the best ways you can clean that up is through hemp. It's one of the best ways. You can clean up over time. It will take time. But again, if you have nuclear power, you have more and more energy. With more energy, you can find ways to clean your soil, to put more soil on top, to fix things. You can do it. So yes, absolutely. It can be done. It just takes more and more time. So yes, Massman Hour says, nobody's going to pay $80 a gram for hemp concrete. Well, depends. Jacob says, love that plan. There we go. Yes. You gave me a question and I gave you an actual answer. So yes, I gave you an actual answer. 100%. Lunatic says the Trump channels never addressed the killing of the domestic hemp industry. Of course not. Why would they? Why would they? Of course not. They'll never bring it up. So yes, Ryan says, Larry, I hope you're wrong with Marco ascending, but I bet you're right. Look, I'm not a huge Marco fan. I've been saying that forever. I'm not a Marco fan. I'm not, but me being a fan, he's not listening to what I think. 99 says, a Rubio presidency scares me. Man is frothing his mouth to bomb someone. Yeah. I mean, if he becomes president, we're going to have, I don't know, Secretary of State. I don't know who's going to be Secretary of State. Graham? Maybe. I don't know. It'd be crazy. So, yeah, it's terrible. Michael says, the problem with MAGA in the Republican Party is this. They want to combat immigration to the point of violating the U.S. Constitution and ignoring SCOTUS. Yeah, I think the problem is look, Trump didn't even bring up mass immigration anymore. Mass deportation anymore. He didn't bring it up. Why? Look, a lot of MAGA Republicans bought the lie. They bought the lie that we're going to get rid of all the illegals. We're not. I told you this over a year ago. It is physically impossible. We don't have the bodies. We don't have the people. We don't have the resource. We don't have the plane. We are literally buying broken planes from Spirit Airlines, trying to get enough planes to get people out of it. It can't be done. It is physically impossible. And I mentioned this over a year ago. So let's focus on the bad guys. What are we doing now? Focusing on bad guys. It's what I said a year ago. Trump, if you're listening, pay attention. I'm right. I told you this a year ago, and you told a lie to people, or someone lied to you, either one, saying that you get these people out. It was impossible then. We're not even up to Obama numbers. I'm not making that up. Do your homework. If you don't believe I'm telling the truth. We're not up to Obama numbers yet. We still don't deport us what Obama did. This cannot be done. We don't have the infrastructure. Biden got rid of it all. He got rid of all of it. I mean, I'm exaggerating. But Biden didn't use anything. It was broken. How are you going to rebuild that? What was destroyed in 2 years? In 1 year? Impossible. It physically cannot be done. Once Biden got rid of everything, I'm exaggerating, but you know what I'm saying. You can't just replace that in 5 seconds. That's where they're rushing the people to get trained. Those guys were leaving saying, we used to get whatever. I'm making these numbers up, but we used to get 200 days of training. Now we got 100 or whatever the numbers were, right? They're like, no, you needed 200 days of training. They're not getting it now. Why? Rushing people out. Stop it. It can't be done. Accept it. You got to go after the bad guys. Trump has finally accepted that. Note again, Holman wasn't mentioned. Mass deportation wasn't mentioned. Chrissy Nome wasn't mentioned. Stephen Miller wasn't mentioned. Those guys don't exist all of a sudden. They don't exist. Because Larry Sharpe was right. You can't do that. Just get the bad guys. Move on. That's what you can get. Do what you can. Focus on what really matters and stop pretending. So, yes. Ken said it's almost like both Democrats and Republicans are both cults, but only care about sharing power over actually working for the people. No, I can't believe that, Ken. Call me crazy. You're nuts. They care about us. I feel the love. I live in New York City. I feel the warmth of collectivism. See, you don't get to have that. You live in New York City. I get to feel that. So, yeah. All righty. We've got a bunch of those guys. I'm trying to raise as many as we can. Yes, Hemp Project Morgan. Yes. But yeah, I try to give you a plan. I care about our farmers. I do. I think our farmers are important. We have to work on them and give them something. Joseph says schools are broken, which is why we need local control. It's why we need local control. 100%. Joseph goes on to say, abolish DOE, another campaign promise broken. True. Yes. Yes. Nate says, went to the dump in Rome today. Truck ahead of me threw out bales of cannabis. Smelled great. The booth said it was from the casino. How's that profitable? Oh, interesting. I like that. From the casino? Okay. So I guess you get hammered and then go gamble, I guess. Is that the right way of doing things? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. So, okay, grab some of this if I can. There are so many of these. Mass Manow says, never underestimate the Democrats' ability to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Very true. Very true. Absolutely true. Yes. Phil says, the Battle of Lepanto. Oh, was that the largest battle? Hold on. Now you got me thinking. You're making me work on this one. Hold on. Naval engagement. Oh, I see where you're going. I see where you're going. Yes. Also good. Another good choice. I would accept that one too. That's about 450 years ago. But yes, yeah, I would accept that I was Little Frog. Also a good one. Except that was kind of the end of it. And maybe the Battle of Kursk was the end of the war for the Germans, and the Battle of Moscow, the fighting in Russia, was the end for Napoleon. So maybe yes. All right. Gene says, what does getting primaried mean? It means that once you, it means that someone now, so I'm doing with Fetterman. I'm also Fetterman. What I'm doing with Blakeman. What I'm doing with Blakeman, right? Blakeman thinks I'm the guy, and I'm going to go to a primary and beat him within his own party, right? So if you're a Democrat and you would have stood, you're going to get primaried. And Chuck says Fetterman stood. Yeah. And he's going to get primaried. Someone will primary him. That you will guarantee someone's going to run the primary to get rid of him, because Democrats don't see Fetterman as Democrat anymore, right? He doesn't do the right things. So he's no longer a Democrat. He's got to get primaried. Republicans are primarying Massey. They don't see him as Republican anymore. So they're primarying Massey. Same thing. That's how parties clean their own. Or try to clean their own. That's how that works. So, Joseph, thank you for $10. Ron Paul report says CIA is training Mexican cartels in drone bomb tech in Ukraine now. That actually makes sense. For those who don't know, the best drone operators on the planet right now are fighting the Ukrainian war right now. This is one of the reasons. There are many reasons why Israel is being very aggressive in its battling now in the Middle East. There are many reasons. One of the reasons why it's doing it is because of the war in Ukraine right now. Russia doesn't have the bodies, the time, the money to assist at all in the Middle East. It can't. It is completely absorbed in the Ukrainian war. So you saw it with Syria. I told you before, when the Israelis were fighting in Syria, when the Turks invaded Syria, when it happened, the Russians have bases in Syria, for those who don't know. And they basically just went, hey, can we just want to keep the one base we have on the ocean? Can we just march all our troops to the base, the port base? Can we just do that, naval base? And can we just go there? And the Turks went, all right. And the Russians just literally just marched their troops and drove their troops to that base and stayed there. They did nothing. And the Turks came in, did whatever they wanted. And then the Israelis came in from the south, did what they wanted. They did everything. The Russians can't do anything right now. So because of that, it's one of the reasons why the Israeli is being so aggressive in the Middle East right now. The Russians can't do anything. But what's also happening is, to your point, Joseph, is they have the best drone operators in the world right now are the Ukrainians and the Russians, who are fighting each other. There was I don't know if it's true. There was someone who quoted I forgot who it was, who gave a quote on the damages that he believes almost 80% of all the casualties are somehow related to drones, which means either direct drone attack or drones spotting artillery or drones spotting fire. Like drones are like responsible for 80% of all deaths. That's what's one of the consultants over there said. I don't know if that's true, but even if it's 50%, it's still huge. So now when that war ends, where do all those drone operators go? Well, they might go to Mexico, maybe, to your point, Joseph. They might go to the Middle East to try to retake Syria. They could do that. They might fight in Iran. They might fight in pushing back the Israelis in Gaza. Or what Qatar and all the rest of the guys want, they'll go to Africa. They want them to look to Africa. Again, you've heard me say it, and it's going to come true. When this war ends, whenever this was, and I think the Ukraine war ends this year. I predicted that last year, and I think it will end this year. I don't think America or Europe is prepared to do what it takes to push the Russians back or to even slow them down. I don't think they're prepared. Could it be done? Yes. Are we Americans or Europeans prepared to do what it takes? I think no. And I've been saying that for years. We're not ready to do what it would take to push the Russians back. We're not prepared. And if we're not prepared, it's not going to happen. So the Russians are going to keep moving forward. They've been moving forward now for over a year, maybe almost a year and a half now. They keep moving forward. At one point, Ukrainians go, all right, we're done. We're done. And they're going to end it at one point, I think this year. And when they do, I now have tens of thousands of young men who were making $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month, whatever that number is, right? And I have to go back to Russia or back to Ukraine to a broken, crazy spot where they can make $500 a month, $1,000 a month, maybe, or they can have the Saudis pay them $4,000 a month to fight in Syria or to fight in, Sudan or to fight in Eritrea or to fight in Mali or wherever, right? Where to fight someplace else. A lot of them are going to go, oh, I'll take that. Thank you very much. How much you said? Okay, yeah, I'll do that. Do I get life insurance? Done. I'm in. Where's the next plane I can get on? And they're all literally combat trained drone operators. So yes, it makes total sense. That's where they all are now. And when those people decide to come to the Middle East, a lot of war is going to stop because no one's going to want to fight them. Right now, the people in the Middle East do not know how to fight drone warfare. They don't. Neither does anybody. The only people who actually know are the people who are there. And the anti-Russian people said, oh, the Russians are so, they're so desperate. They're using North Koreans. No, the North Koreans are like, can we get in on this? They voluntarily sent their troops there. They were happy to send their troops there. The North Korean troops haven't fought in a war in 70 years? There's no one active duty in the Korean army who has any combat experience. Well, here's a nice war. You can just shove all these people in. Of course they would. A modern warfare, I can send 10,000 North Koreans over there. 2,000 or 3,000 will die or get wounded. I'll have 7,000 that come back. Half of them I'll put into my reserves. Half of them I'll put into activism in my non-commissioned commissioned officer force in my military. How awesome is that? So I have reserve trainers who can train my civilian population who've been in combat. And I got active duty, 3,500 people in non-commissioned officer combat trained. Why wouldn't I do that? If I'm North Korea, can I send 20,000? Can I send 40,000? Can I send 100,000? If I'm North Korea, I'm sending everybody I possibly can. How many you need, Russia? How many you need? I'll send 100,000. I'm North Korea? Of course I would. So would the Chinese if they could. Of course they would. So yes, I went very long on your point, Joseph, but it's a very valid point. And this is an AMA, so yes, it is an AMA. Okay, let me keep going down here if I can. Let's see here. D says, I do hope Larry does a show on the RFK and Glossfate goof next week. All right, you know what? You asked D, I'll do it next week. I will find some time. Yes. All righty. Nosy says, since we all have this jumping party, why not Massey running Democratic primary in 2028? Massey's not a Democrat. And while Democrats like Massey, they like Massey as a spoil to Trump. They don't like him as a Democrat, right? So it's similar to RFK Jr. Republicans like RFK Jr. as a spoil to Democrats, but Republicans don't like RFK Jr. RFK Jr. is still seen as, he used to be a Democrat, so he's still one of them. He's not seen that way. Massey would still be seen as Republican. And Massey's very conservative, so he wouldn't fit as Democrat. I get what you're saying. If Massey's going to run for president in 2028, he'll have to run either as a Republican or as an independent. And the issue is, who is he running against? And how well is Trump doing before this ends? If Trump is doing very well, if his stuff comes to pass, he doesn't get his butt kicked this year in 2026, and the tariffs and all the stuff to kick in the way he wants to kick in, all that $9 trillion starts coming into play. If that happens by 2028, if he does his blessing on somebody, I don't think Massey can win. But if Trump is messing up or he gets beat up in 2026 and the sharks come out and they backstab him, which is absolutely could happen. If any of that happens, then Massey got a shot, because there'll be another 17 people running again. And then 17 people running, Massey's got a shot. So yeah, it could happen. I think so. Yeah. Phil says Thomas Massey would never fit in Democrats. True. That's my point. Yes, I agree. I think there's no way. I think there's just no way. I can't see it. I can't see it. So, all righty. Massman out says, Philip, I would prefer that he parted with some judges to get some warrants to arrest him. But yes. Yes. Phil says, I think you almost do a better job in the Libertarian Party. Okay. To be clear, what is he trying to achieve? If he's trying to actually win, tough Libertarian Party. Can he do it? Yes, there is a pathway. There is a pathway. It's the same pathway I said for Lars Mapstead. Same pathway. The pathway for him to win is to get it thrown into the Senate. Into the Congress. The 12th Amendment makes it to where what you could do is, if no one gets 270 electoral votes, it goes into the Senate, into the Congress, and each state gets one vote. If there was a setup to where neither the Republican or the Democrat won 25 states, and neither one got 270 electoral votes, Thomas Massey could win, because he'd be the only one who would be a compromise candidate. So that's the only path. And to be forward, that is not a common path. It's not a high chance, but that's his only path as a libertarian. Could he win the Libertarian nomination? Easily. Would he have to go through it? He would, but he would win. If Thomas Massey decided to run as a Libertarian, he would absolutely win the nomination. No doubt. He'd have to go through it and fight it, but he'd win. And then the only way, the path to success is that. Now, if you're saying, well, he doesn't want to win this round, if you're saying it's a 2 or 3 cycle plan, he could win that way. How? If he gets 5%, those who don't know, he will qualify for matching funds for the next year. With matching funds and a successful run at 5%, then Thomas Massey would have a chance at having an actual electoral victory in 2032. So it's possible in 2032 for him to have a victory as a libertarian if he were to break 5% in 2028. In 2028, the only way he could get an electoral victory would be virtually impossible. He'd have to get a congressional victory if he could just deny the other 270. So is there a chance? Yes. Is it a high chance? No. But it could happen. Yes, it could happen. Joe's, thank you for $10, my friend. All you have to do is see what Dems truly think of Massey is to show them the Massey family Christmas card. You're right. The Christmas card where they're all carrying firearms. Valid point. Yeah, he's not running as Democrat. It's not a thing. He would either run in the Republican primary, and if there were a lot of Republicans, like 16, 17, 14, like that, he could win. If there's like 2 or 3 and a neocon's backing him, it's a tough one. That's tough. That's a tough one. A lot of people, he has a shot to win. So, yeah. Rick Paul says, if you just want to own the libs, your greatest desires are now fulfilled in one glorious long State of the Union. True. If you want to unite and achieve prosperity and peace, you're accurate, Rick. That's true. Right. And again, if you're looking to motivate your base, this was wonderful. It was a good thing for that, but it wasn't uniting at all. So, yes. All right. Little Frog says, call me what you want, but at one time I liked seeing them before they went crazy. I want to like them again. They still need to keep going long before watch again. I agree with everything you just said. Little Frog, I agree. There was, if you go back to, 90s maybe, they weren't that bad at all. What really drove CNN crazy to the point where it was just embarrassing was Trump 2015. That's when it became so screaming obvious. So yeah, I agree. They went nuts over. They could not handle Trump at all. So yes. Let's see. Lemon Bomb says, hey Larry, I shared your last talk about Mamdani with a friend. His response to say that you were simply name calling. when I asked him to clarify, I said, he keeps saying evil rich people. What? Hey, Larry, I shared the last time I'm down with a friend. His response to say that you were simply name calling. When I asked him to clarify, he said, he keeps saying evil rich people. That's what Mamdani says. I don't say that. Mamdani says that. Okay. I'm not sure where that was going. So, okay. All righty. I'll work on some more of this if I can. All right. James says, anyways, Trump bragged that some soldiers are going to receive a war dividend of $1,776. Trump says it'll be paid off by tariff revenue, but I don't believe it. How's it going to be paid for? Debt. The answer to your question is debt. That's how it'll be paid for. Yes. 100%. So he says, would community ownership help avoid things like China hacking into water supplies information? Yes and no. The advantage of having localized community ownership is they won't all be connected. So will some communities be weaker when it comes to defense and others? Yes. Right. Some will, some won't. So what will happen? Will some, whatever hacking company get into some local power plant, water supply? Probably, yeah. And when it happens, others will see it. Now, will they do a lot of it? No. Why? Because why would you do it in New York State when I could do it in, say, California or Texas and a centralized system and get everything with one hack? Or I got to go to New York and I got to need 14 different hacks with 14 different systems and everything, right? Decentralization is the best defense. So would we end it, Shelley? Probably not. Would we lessen the odds? Yes. And would we also lessen the impact? Yes. We would lessen the odds of it happening and lessen the impact when it does because of decentralization. Hope that makes sense. So universal basic assets, ownership of local income. Yes. Universal basic assets. Yes, absolutely. But again, not as a government. This is just localized. Yes. Robbie Sauvé is not a discernible libertarian. James, wait. Robbie Sauvé is libertarian. He says he is, but if you watched his response to the State of the Union, I've been telling you this all the time. He is not. I mean, he's liberty leaning, kinda. He's Republican. He just is. He's Republican. So yeah, he loved the Trump thing. He loved the fact that he says it. He's like, this e-file stuff, it's a hoax. He's like that. So yeah, absolutely. Yep. Codwin says, I disagree, Larry Sharpe. I think it was just a radical left had fought back against Trump and ICE. The radical left that fought back against Trump and ICE has fought back against Trump and ICE. And then I'm not sure where you're going with this one. I think it was just a radical left that fought back against Trump and ICE. Okay, maybe if I get this clear, you're saying, did they fight? Yes. When it came to physically fighting back, I think you're right. It was much more of a radical left. But the deaths of those two people that so many Republicans simply ignored or blew off or even laughed at, like it was Charlie Kirk and the right and left them to Charlie Kirk, turned a lot of people off. So while a lot of people were not fighting back, you're right, they became very disenchanted with what ICE was doing based upon those events. So the battle that the radical left was doing wound up being a victory for them. And the leadership of Democrats who acted like they hated the fact that those guys died, they didn't hate those. They didn't hate it. They loved it. I don't mean to be cruel, but they loved it because they raised money off of it. They won the local battle. They won the PR battle against ICE. You can see he didn't talk about mass deportation. He didn't talk about Chrissy Noem was who's she? Didn't even mention him. So you're right. The radical left were the ones who were fighting, but overall, the Democrats won that battle. The Battle of Minnesota was won by Democrats. If you think about it, if Trump didn't bring up the Somali people, that was forgotten. Remember, Tim Walz wasn't going to run anymore. Then all of a sudden this happened. He's like, oh, maybe I will run. The war isn't over yet, but that battle was won by Democrats. It just was. And again, at that point, the wisdom of humongous, just walk away. And Trump did. He's like, I'm walking away. I'm done with that one. It was a smart move. Sometimes you lose a battle. It happens, right? And you don't want to die on every hill because the amount of resources you lose dying on every hill can just end it. So Yes. Nobody says, if Rubio gets in the White House, just as well kiss it all goodbye. I'll do my best to find a cave. There we go. Yes, I love that. That's good. So there's some validity to that. So Lunatic says, the warmth of collectivism is still diabolical. I know, I'm in it. I know. Yes, I'm in it. Correct. D says, social media sucks tonight. Now I don't see Larry on X at the top of the screen since he's live. I have to go to this page and click his profile picture. Oh, that sucks. That sucks. Morgan says, Larry, what are your thoughts about Mamdani's emergency snow shelter program? All right. This shows the folly, Morgan. The concept is a wonderful concept, meaning I want local people to help out local people. That's a wonderful idea. I love the idea. But the problem is he had that government. He should have just said, hey, if you guys want to do it, a good idea. You could have let communities just do it on their own. That's the issue. You should have let communities just do it on their own. That's the problem. Once you add a government, it becomes bad just by default. That's how it works. So, yes, that's the problem. Again, the concept, nice. Shoei says, Chrissy needs to stop playing dress up with all different uniforms. Is a childish look. People are teasing her now. Yeah, people are teasing her now. I know. It's a tough one. So, all righty. HVAC says, the SO2 isn't really about the State of the Union anymore. Yes. Agreed. It isn't. Yes. Oh, Lemon says, my question was, does Mamdani actually say evil rich people? My friend said that you were putting words in his mouth. Oh, thus name calling. Yeah. Yes, he's correct. He doesn't say evil rich people, but everything he does says evil rich people. But he doesn't say it. You're right. Your friend is correct. I don't say that, but it's like if there's some guy who starts saying, you know, certain urban types of people who listen to rap music, you're saying black people, right? Now, you didn't say black people, but you know, certain urban people with melanin who listen to rap, that person is saying black people. They didn't say the words black people, but they're saying that. So your friend is correct. Mamdani doesn't say evil rich people, but he does say the wealthy tax the rich. He does say that. The rich people are doing X, Y, and Z. So your friend's correct. He doesn't say those words, but we know what he's saying. That's the issue. He is saying that. And I stand by that. I stand by that. He is saying that. So, but your friend's correct. Okay, there it is. All right. D says, Larry, don't forget to show the AI mashup. Okay, yes. All right, let me do that now. Before I do that, I do want to show up the mashup video. I do. But before I do that, I want to ask you all a favor, if you don't mind. We've been talking a lot about, you know, whether you like his Trump's State of the Union or not. I can find that a very good way to say if I'm right or not. Do me a favor. Take the world's smallest political quiz. Take the world's smallest political quiz. Head over to the Advocates using, by the way, the link that is in the description and the link that is in the description in YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble. Click that specific link. Head on over there. And when you head over there, take the world's smallest political quiz. Take that quiz and see if you come out conservative or not. If you come up conservative, the odds are you will have liked Trump's State of the Union. If you come up progressive, the odds are you have not liked it. Tell me if I'm wrong. Take the world's smallest political quiz, and once you take it, share it. Sharing it is key. Please share it. They're a sponsor of the show. It is free. The more we share this, the better. It is the Advocates for Self-Government. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. So, yes, I did that too. Let me quickly grab a couple more of these if I could. Hold on. Let me know, says, I learned that our town doesn't have zoning laws. Would that be how we access ownership of data centers or nuclear reactors? Our town is interested in tax incentives, but doesn't want health hazards. So, yeah, the issue here is zoning should be illegal at the state. It is in Texas. Zoning is a bad idea in general. But my point is this should be a plebiscite. Now, in New York State, there were already about 12, I think it's 12 in that area, sites that already you could just put a plant right in because we had plants before we shut them down. You put a nuclear plant right in. In those areas, just have a plebiscite. Do the people locally want it or not? Do you want it? If the municipality says, you know what? No, we're still scared of nuclear power plants, or we don't want it, or we don't like whatever. I don't care what your reason is. You don't have to explain yourself to me. It's your neighborhood. It's your municipality. It's your state country, town. You do what you want. You tell me, Larry, I don't want it. Okay. He said, Larry, we want it. It goes in. And as I said before, the land is leased by the state. That's it. It is built by the private company. And once it'll be up and running within a year and a half, maybe 2 years at max, because I will literally allow it to happen no matter what they do. If they want to sue, see you in court, we're still building. A judge, if they want, you can go, Larry, we're going to tell you to stop. I'm not stopping. I don't care what you say. So we're still building. See you in court. You can keep me in court all day you want. And I'll keep you in court for years. It'll be built already by the time you're done. By the time you tell me I can't build it, it's already built. So I don't care. It's getting built. And at that point, people can then get a cut. Now, here's the issue. Not everybody will want one. You're right. Some people will be like, I don't want it. Okay, great. Someone will. They'll want jobs. And people look at it and go, did it work? And if it does work, which I know it will, they'll go, damn, that worked. The people have cleaner water. The people have lower energy costs. Things are better for them. They have more jobs. We would like one, please. Boom, and it goes. So yes, tax incentives are useless. I don't want them. If you have to have tax incentives, you have a crappy system. If I have to bribe you to come to me, then I have a crappy system. I should change my system to where bribe is not required. You shouldn't need tax incentives. That's the whole point. If you need tax incentives, your system sucks. Joe, thank you for $10, Joseph. We're from the government snow shoveling program, and we're from the government snow shoveling program, and we're here to help. Yeah, or you just get some shovels and go shovel. Just do that because you care. You could. So again, remember, when I say all the time, when you add government, you remove community. What happens now? Why would I just go shovel for my neighbor now? Why would I? Well, because you love your neighbor. But now I got a guy next to me who went and gave his 4 forms of ID, and he's getting whatever. What is it? Was it $30 an hour? Whatever it was. He's getting X thousand an hour to shovel. Why the hell am I'm a sucker now? Why would I help people out? My point's exactly. When you add government, you by default remove community every single time. That's a perfect example of it. That's why it sucks. That's why it's not good. So yes. So, all righty. Let's see here. I covered that piece already. Good. All right, guys. I'll make sure we do something for. Let me do that if I can. This is this is a video. If I can get it going here. Hold on. If I can find. This is a video from. I open this up. This is a Rumble video. Yes, it's a Rumble video. This is a mashup. Hopefully you guys will enjoy.
The boat, just pick a side. Red or blue, enjoy the ride. Hold your nose and blow.
What a morning in the Catskills.
Larry, you're real. They told me an honest politician was a myth.
Likewise, friend. Guess myths can surprise you.
Hey there, champ. I heard this myth that third parties can't win.
That's a good joke.
That's a good joke.
Whoa, what is that?
Even a chupacabra like me knows that splitting the vote is a myth.
Huh. Chupacabra.
Okay. Fair point.
Here goes nothing.
Hey, Rip Van Winkle. People keep sleeping on these local solutions. No offense.
None taken. You just keep throwing straight, and I'll keep napping between frames.
Whoa. Hello? Is that the Headless Horseman? Indeed. Voting for Larry Sharpe is a no-brainer.
Well, can't argue with that. And now I'm standing here by this giant letter Y. Every time I look at it, I think about the question that hides in plain sight. Why? Why we start something, why we keep going, why it matters.
Then tell me what kind of choice that is. They say the math just does.
Yes, it is. If those guys don't know, the Headless Horseman is from Sleepy Hollow, New York State, as is Rip Van Winkle, also from New York State. So yes, just so in case you guys didn't know that. I hope you enjoyed some of that AI stuff. I know some of you guys like the AI, some of you don't, but we always make sure you know it is AI, and we do pop it up and show it to the best of our ability. And I appreciate all of these. And I know sometimes I look funny or weird, but I don't care. I think it's fun. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. I love when you guys make it. Please enjoy it to the best of your ability. It sounds really good. So it sounds really good. I hope you guys enjoy that. If you want to make some, please make some. So yes, Dark Clouds of Mine says, glad you took my advice on using Sora. It's not me. I wish it was. It is supporters who do it. So if you like it, please do it. We'll pop it up there. I appreciate that. So yes, to the best of our ability, I appreciate it. And yes, he says, yes, we label AI content. Yes. When we do AI, it is labeled AI. You know it is. We don't do that much of it, but we do some of it. Some of you don't like AI. Too bad, it's fun and people like it. So we're going to do some AI stuff. It's cute. So yes. So we do some of it. I hope you guys do enjoy. We try our best. Guys, if you like it, click the button known as like. If you haven't reposted it, please repost it. You will see all those pieces up on the Larry Sharpe YouTube page. If you want to go grab those, if you can. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't. And again, remember, you can see me in New York. You can see me coming up here. Today's the AMA. Why? Because I'm traveling starting tomorrow. Yes, starting tomorrow. You will see me if you want to tomorrow at the Park Diner at 6 p.m. in Binghamton, New York. That's February 26th. The day after, Friday, you can have lunch with me if you want to at Crossways Tavern in Ilion, New York. Please check me out there. Friday night, there's a fundraiser at the Rail Line in Syracuse, New York. That is the only one that requires cash to come. That's the only one that's a fundraiser. All the rest, just come if you want to come, sit your butt in a seat and hang out. All good. That one is specific. Please go to LarrySharpe.com/Syracuse to register. If you love me, please come there and give me money if you're in the area. I appreciate it. If you can't get it, no worries. You can help the Webster the next day, Saturday at 2 p.m. at the Nutcracker restaurant in Webster, Western New York. And then 6:30 that same day at WMC North in Elmira, New York. And then finally Sunday, March 1st, I'll be in Warwick at noon at the Warwick Valley Community Center. So please come see me if you can. Love to get out there and chat. I sometimes get small groups, 3 or 4. I sometimes get large groups, 30 or 40. I never know who I'm going to get. Someone asked me today, who are you going to meet there? Maybe I should plan better. Maybe it's a problem, but I don't want to plan better in that regard. I just want people to come. I just want to meet people and have conversations like I do now. And maybe I should plan better, but the fundraiser is being planned, so that's something. But I want to meet people. I want you to know that I will go to a local diner. I will go to a local restaurant. I will go to a community center, and we can just sit and talk. I'll say some few words. I'll ask questions. I'll maybe go live. And if you're lucky, there'll be only 3 or 4 people. And if you're not lucky, there'll be 40 or 50. But either way, I'll still spend time there later, before and after, and we'll talk to the best of my ability. I will always try to answer your questions. It does matter. There is no way I can make impact in this state if I lose the people. I just can't. I need to have them. If I'm going to make any change, I need it to happen. So I hope that's true. So, alrighty. I appreciate all the stuff you guys have been doing. Guys, as always, please, you know the rules. After this is over, please comment, and please comment on what you thought of the State of the Union. Whatever you thought of it. Give your opinion of the State of the Union. What you think about it, please put it in the comments after this is over. And if you watch this and it's not live, remember 2 videos might pop up. Watch one of them right away, because you know who loves that? Mr. Rhythm. I'll go Rhythm. I will see you all very soon.